So namaste and welcome everybody. This is the second video in continuation of our series on current affairs, wherein we are discussing about the relevance of current affairs, and I am exposing some of the bad market gimmicks, some of the educators, coaching institutes, people, whether independent or in institution, where they come up daily with their own 1 hour long current affairs sessions, and they garner around thousands of views. Innocent people, misguided people, distracted people, they go there, aspirants go there and waste a lot of their important time. And I talked that why this strategy does not work. I talked on the basis of evidence, facts, proofs. I gave you the empirical reasons that why you should not be giving much time to current affairs. And at the end, I just said that it is very sufficient if you just give 30 minutes by your own to the newspaper, and it would be helping you in your CSAT, you believe it or not, in the comprehensions. It would be helping you in your essay, believe it or not, and it would be helping you in your interview, because I have been to several stages, several times of this process, been into this process for a very long time. I have experienced the things. I have seen the friends clearing it, making it to the final list. I have been with it, we have studied together. So given this wide exposure, I have learned a lot of things, and what I feel is that it is the time to give back to the community, to guide some people, to prevent them from getting misguided because of the infodemic and the infodemia kind of there in the market. So I have come here, this time, speaking and giving some revelations, some shocking revelations about the mains, like what is wrong about the mains, because ultimately it is the mains. Like, if you clear the prelims, it is nothing. People feel very like they have achieved or accomplished something great clearing it. People sometimes say that I just want to clear the prelims. No, it is not about prelims. Nobody will give a damn on how many prelims have you cleared, until unless you make it to the interview, or for that matter, until unless you make it to the list and get your service allocated. Okay. So see, the process is very simple. Firstly, telling you about the process. The process is very simple. As in prelims, like extending this video, stretching or taking it from where we ended the last video on the prelims. In the prelims, what happens is that we need to prepare the static well from the static sources. If you make the notes, then nothing like that. Okay. And we should not give a damn on the CA. Okay, because hardly 15 to 20 questions come from it, and half of them can be solved through the logic, right? And not more than half of them would be solved by the people who have read current affairs very meticulously and extensively. Okay, so this was the reason, summing up the last video, why I discussed where I discussed about the prelims and what's wrong in the market. I opened up paper and I showed you with evidence why you should not fall in the trap of these daily news discussions or daily news analysis by the prominent coachings or some independent individual educators. Like, why they are releasing them, why they are doing it? For the money, guys, for the money. It's for the money. They are creating a false demand in the market, in the minds of the people. They are creating false consciousness. They are I actually I had sociology as my optional, and for that matter I am even a research scholar in the sociology, and I'm a great fan of Marx. Really, I mean, till he talks about the present stage, like capitalism, when he speaks on the futuristic stages such as socialism or communalism. He's a great romanticist philosopher, but not a very practical sociologist. So that's another thing. So he gave a wonderful concept of exchange value and use value under his broader theme of commodity fetishism. He said that in the market economy, what will happen is that new products would be invented. By whom? By the capitalist. By the capitalist. They would create a false consciousness in the mind of the people. People will attach the different kind of value or attachment to these modern commodities, whether they serve the purpose, whether they have got the utility or not, but they would spend you know incalculably higher amount of money on these things. So he gave this concept, like earlier we had a exchange value, like there was barter system, where we used to buy things based on the necessity, like how necessary are they practically. But now in the market economy, what's happening is that commodities have acquired exchange value, wherein they are exchanged for the money. So what's happening is that people are going crazy. The ones who can afford, they spend like 1.5 lakhs, 1 lakhs, or any amount of money on these coaching institutes to get the access to the lectures, whether they watch it or not. The fact remains that most of them do not watch. Most of the videos are left unwatched. This is the fact. Like, I have done a kind of survey and research on the basis of which I am saying you. Ask anybody who has got like Fission IAS, that course, or for that matter fact fest IAS, or any IAS course, like they will not watch it. This is one thing. Another thing is, what's happening is that we have got pirated videos coming up into the market. So people are going crazy, like giving 500 rupees or 700 to 1000 rupees to the intermediaries who have illegally, unethically got access to the courses, and then they are supplying those courses to the innocent people. So people are thinking, candidates are thinking that they are getting them at such a cheap rate, so why not to go for them, why not to watch them. This is also happening in the market. This is good for those like who are totally new. If you are totally new, then and you cannot understand the books directly, then you can go for these courses. The bigger problem is that when you have attained the maturity, when you have given sufficient time to this process, when you are aware about the basic concepts, then what becomes important is that whether you have the notes or not. They are not very necessary because it is an objective type paper for the prelims. They are not very necessary for the prelims because it is an objective type paper, MCQ based paper. You have got the answer in your in front of your eyes, and you will have to just select one out of the four options. I hope you are getting me. That is why it is not very necessary there that you have the notes. But if you have the notes, then nothing like that. That is great, right? In the mains, what happens is that you have just got a question and you need to write 2 pages on it, or if it is a 50 marker, you need to write 3 pages on it. Where will you get this content from? If you think that you do not make the notes, then can you write the 3 pages? Of course you can write, but given the fact that you need to complete these 2 pages within a span of 6 to 7 minutes, and you need to write these 3 pages within a span of 10 to 11 minutes, will you be able to do it? This is the question. Will you be able to do it? Because mains is all about speed. It's all about whether you finish the paper or not, of course with a good content, with a fair content. So will you be able to do it if you have not made the notes? Just do one thing. If it is a matter of intellect, some people think that CSE is all about intellect, like brilliance, intelligence. This is another myth in the market, because people say that it is an analytical paper. They do not get the factual questions there in the exam. So this is a test of the intelligence of a person. So this is again a very big myth. No guys, it is not like that, not at all like that. If you ask somebody who is yours, if he tells you honestly, very honestly, then this is a fact that this is not the test of your intelligence, of your brilliance, of your curiosity, inquisitiveness. This is merely a test of, can you restrict yourself to one source or a couple of sources, make notes out of them, and then revise them repeatedly. Do some practice of answer writing, like how to write an answer in a well presented manner, well structured manner, and then revise the content again and again so as to reproduce it in the detail. This is the simple process. What you need to do is watch some lectures so as to get a fair understanding what things are. Of course you cannot make the running notes, they would serve no purpose. You will end up gathering very voluminous compilations of spiral notebooks. They would serve no purpose. You'll have to make the notes out of some sources, like not promoting any coaching these days. There is Shunya IS, there is only IS. They have come up with the compilations for the mains. Shunya has done a brilliant job. Like, it has come up with one single book. It contains everything about the GS. So what if you like read this book, go on reading this book? No, this would also not serve the purpose. Now what is required is you make the notes, like a 2-page notes for all the topics out there. For all the topics out there, revise them repeatedly. At the same time, simultaneously, you are doing some answer writing practice as well, say from the PYQs or from the toppers, and then you will be able to answer the questions on the D-Day in 2 pages in 7 minutes. Now, is this possible? Now tell me just one thing, is this possible? Supposing that you had not done this exercise, is this possible? Like writing a 7-minute answer in a well structured and manner in 7 minutes, 2 pages, if you had not made the notes for them? No, this is not possible. Is this possible? Had you sincerely, religiously heard the 1 hour long discussion daily? No, not possible. Is this possible? Had you watched the 1 hour long discussions of multiple coachings daily? No. For that matter, is this possible? Even if you had extensively read the newspaper for the past 1 years like a nerd, or for that matter 2 newspapers, no, it's not that possible. Here I rest my case. This is the crux which nobody will tell you. If you stay, you're gonna discover some more harsh truth and reality, some secrets, tips and tricks about this examination that I have learned and discovered during this course of journey. Because had I made a 5 minute long video, like even in the 2 minutes, or for that matter even in the 1 minute short, I could have told you like what is to be done, what is the crux of the examination. But unless we expose, extract the layers one by one in some detail, casually, as I am doing candidly, then you cannot make it understand to the another person, or for that matter like you as a viewer or watcher cannot understand it, cannot get the essence of it if I present you in a very mechanized and raw manner in a 1 minute long video. So that's why it becomes necessary to watch such candid discussions. Very few people come out and speak on such things. Because why do they not come out and speak on these things? Because it will stop their revenues. It will hurt their revenues if the process is so easy. In some time we would be discussing about the paper, and I will be telling you how this entire paper has come directly from the syllabus. Now if the process is so easy, and if they tell you, if the people, the capitalists, or the people in the market economy, the running their businesses, the big coaching institutes, or for that matter even the petty individual educators coming out there, or the people who are giving the guidance and later on very cleverly morph into the coaching institutes, the same coaching institutes against them they came. It is quite amazing that you came abusing the coaching institutes, and you said that you will bring some transformation, some kind of revolution, opening the eyes of the candidates. But what you do, like you start coming out with the same test series, with the same bulky books, notes, with the same sessions. Are they really needed? This is the question you will have to ask anybody, any person who is appearing the mains, how possible it is at that point of time when you have got so many things to do, your optional GS, there are 4 papers, how manageable, how tangibly, practically possible it is to watch the lectures. How, given the fact that you have cleared the prelims, I don't think that you need anybody for any topic to explain you something, making the videos, but still it is going on. This is quite a irony that some YouTubers, they are there, they come opposing the very coaching institutions, and later on they simulate them. Later on they become the people who they used to hate. There are a pick which is there a lot in the market. In that, on the one hand is your Kunal Kamra, and on the other hand is our own rival HM. And the meme says that ki Kunal Kamra, the transformation that Kunal Kamra has undergone, of course not a good thing. So they say that ki you become what you hate. Like Kunal Kamra used to spew poison against the ruling party or its leaders, and now he has become like them. It's pretty much the same thing. That is why I felt the need of coming out, speaking out in the public, so as to prevent them from getting misguided. Uh, Things are pretty simple. You just need to, you just need to write this thing down. This note making thing, make notes of 2 pages for each topic, and then practice some questions, analyze the pyqs, now revise these notes again, revise multiple times, so as to reproduce them successfully in the exam day, in the exam day right? This is the process, very simple process, which you need to write on some blank paper, and then stick it the place where you study it, in the cubicle, in the library, or your room. This is a very simple process. Of course, syllabus is the gita, of this entire process. You need to have this syllabus with you. You need to know that which part of the syllabus did this question in the examination come from. When you have the paper, there are multiple question, then you should be able to recognize that which part of the syllabus has it come from. Many of the things can be solved through the syllabus, but we don't give a damn on it. Until unless we have mugged it up, we are unable to get good marks. It is very important, and no coaching institute, I don't think that they emphasize adequately on this part of mugging up the syllabus, analyzing the pyq, and making the notes of 2 pages. What they do is they start giving lengthy lectures, which I don't think would serve any purpose. And another related thing is that there is something which is very significant, which is the core, which is something with very high probability or possibility to come in the examination. And there are only 2 to 3 issues, such issues under every head. Now what the coaching institutes do is, so as to give the material, so as to make sure that they get the revenue, so as to make the lectures, what they would do is cover unnecessary things. And a person, what he would do, the candidate, what he would do, he would give equal weightage to all the things, while he or she knows that somewhere, we have the common sense, we knows that this is pretty much a news, so this would come in the examination. I should prepare it wholeheartedly and holistically. But instead of giving time to this thing, he would fall in the trap of the whether be it current affairs or some other lectures of some coaching institute, and end up compromising with the exam. So for example, Chandrayaan, it was very expected, but you wouldn't do it. For example, NATO, very expected. Now, not wasting much time, directly let us jump to the mains question paper of 2023, so as to draw some parallels, relations between the syllabus on the one hand, and the important questions which are released by some coaching institutes on the one hand, and the real actual paper on the other hand, so as to tell you with evidence and proof that why you need not to be distracted through the daily 1 hour long current affair series, and why you just need to follow this simple mantra of making notes and revising them based on your syllabus, of course, right? See, another psychological aspect which I want to bring to your notice is what is very important for you to understand is, on the D-day, or when you have the immense pressure, you have got 20 questions to write in just 3 hours. It is very difficult to recollect what you have read until unless you have revised it enough and practiced it enough. Now this is something which is very important. You can rewind it, you can write this sentence down, and this is something like God speaking out of my mouth. In the D-day, it becomes very difficult to write the things down in a restricted 7 minutes until unless you have revised it well from the notes which you have made, you know, and reproduced it or a similar topic of that sort on the paper while doing the practice. This is the simple thing. No matter how many videos have you watched on the current affairs or something else, no matter how many lectures have you watched, they are not gonna help you there in the D-Day. This is sheer experience and sheer psychology or mentology. Somebody who is expert in the mind would tell you how difficult it is, unless you have given the multiple revision of the same thing, until unless you have written down the same thing with your own hands in your notes, incorporated it in your note, and until unless you preferably have practiced it, have reproduced it in the mock tests or the practice tests before. This is the most important part of this entire session which I have told you. So now what you are supposed to do is put your hands on some source, on any source. Pick any from the market, be it only IS, Sunya IS, or anybody. I do not like Vision for that matter here, because they both have done a quite brilliant job, have filtered the things out and presented them in the point wise manner, crisp and concise manner. Do not highlight them, do not do anything. The sheer breadth, the width of the books is very daunting, is intimidating. You cannot keep those bulky books with you. What you can do is, in a very succinct manner, in a crisp, concise and precise way, you can make the notes. Like this is a 1-page sheet divided into 2 page. Just fold it, do not mark it, do not make a line there, just fold it, and like write one topic here, second here, third here, fourth here, very meticulously. I'm telling you, nobody will tell you these things. And this is how you will end up having like 20 to 30 pages for every topic. There are suppose 4 topics in one GS, so you will end up having like 80 to 100 pages. And on the D-Day, before the D-Day, you will further make them more crisper, more concise, so as to revise it, the most important things, just before the examination, which will be reproduced in your paper in the D-Day and fetch you the marks. So what happened with me in 2021 and 2022, I guess what happened with me, I scored some nice marks in GS2. It was 120. And how did it happen? Because just before the examination, what I was doing is, I wasn't reading or studying much. There was a friend of mine, Shruti, with me. We were at UPSC Dholpur house only, and she told me we should revise some important topics. So she brought like 2 topics from IR and some from polity, and we revised them, and all the 4 topics, they appeared in the examination, right? Because things are very expected, and they do gets reflected there in the examination. This happens, I'll tell you now, based on the 2023 paper. And apart from that, what I did is, I revised many cases, Supreme Court judgments, right? And a question come on like ROPA, a question came on MCC, and the names which I revised there, like which I kind of mugged up there, I went there and reproduced all the names and highlighted them well, like this, highlighted them well. It would create a different level of impression on the examiner or the evaluator. He won't give a damn on whether you read the newspaper. He isn't interested in knowing this thing, whether you have been reading the newspaper, and no way he gonna know that you are a person who have been reading the newspaper, or you are somebody who did not read the newspaper, listen to the discussions. Because what matters is, are you hitting the demand of the question? Are you putting the cherries on the cake? They can come from anywhere. And something like newspaper, which is very segregated, something like discussions every day from different people, if even from the same person, then from different articles, editorials, is a very, very crude, obsolete, is a very redundant, is a very kind of what should I say, unintelligent way of studying things. Because this way you will have the information in a very scattered manner. Mark this word, scattered manner. Until unless it is consolidated, until unless the knowledge, the whole ocean of knowledge is consolidated on one or two pages, and until unless you revise it multiple times and you reproduce some of its parts in your mock tests, it becomes very difficult to reproduce it on the D-Day. So why to fall in the trap of these people who are coming up with the videos every day? Why to fall in trap of these people, for that matter, like why to get spoon fed? Now some people will say that they would give us the information, they would explain us like what's going on in the world scenario, in the national level, in a very good manner. Really guys, come on, you're gonna be a DM, you're gonna get into AIS services. You do not need somebody else to spoon feed you. This is not for those who are very very novice. And sometimes what happens, even novice, they directly go to these people on the YouTube, start watching their discussions, and what happens ki they become dependent on them. They do not know, they become dependent. They haven't read the newspaper, and when they clear the mains and if we ask them to read the newspaper for interview, they won't be able to grasp the things because they never referred the newspaper and became totally dependent on them. So be atmanirbhar, that's what our PM says. Be a atmanirbhar person, that's what our PM says. So, and again I'm re-emphasizing the same thing. If you read the newspaper yourself only for the 30 minutes, it's gonna help you in your CSAT comprehensions. I do not need to talk much about the changing pattern of the CSAT and how it has betrayed even the persons coming from engineering background, or for that matter even some IITians. And it will help in you in your essay. You do not need to make notes out of newspapers because already coaching institutes are doing it for you, so what you can do is pick some examples, and for the ethics, pick some things, some anecdotes or something for the essays. And this would of course help you making your opinions and help you in the interview. This is what you should do yourself, not outsourcing it to somebody else, right? Another thing is the pictographical the pictures which you see there in the newspaper. Suppose if some war is going on, then they will show you the picture, of course, there, and it will be there in your mind. So in case some very weird, awkward and unprecedented question comes up in the prelims, or for that matter even in the mains, then you will be able to relate with it because you saw the picture in the newspaper, which you will not get in the discussions or in the compilations. So yeah, it should be read but not more than 30 minutes. So anyway, not getting distracted, we were at means note making strategy, right? Now this was something which came to my mind, and very quickly I will try to sum it up, then we will move on to the to the real analysis of 2023, so as to bring the linkages between the expected questions and syllabus on one hand. This is it, and on the real exam paper on the other end, right? Before that, let me touch these points. Wake up from market economy. Yeah, so I have told you that I am a sociologist. I have studied sociology. I can analyze it from sociological lenses. The way things are, the way market is flooded with the material, and there is infodemic, so people often get distracted. It is very difficult to become to stay like a Arjuna, with the focus on the only on the eye of a bird. Well, I practice non-violence for that matter, just to metaphorically speak. And so this is a wake-up call from the market economy. You have got friends talking about or PK Yadav has come up with a very nice video series, or any other coaching institutes, or you're getting something for free on the Telegram. So it becomes very difficult to restrict yourself. Less is more, the same philosophy applies here. Hyper reality trap. So this is a trap. For example, I talked about this 1 hour discussion. This is a trap. This is a hyper reality. Nobody will tell you why. Do not tell the truth. Why they do not speak the truth? For a simple reason, because they need to earn the money, need to generate the revenue. Where will their revenue come from? Their revenue will come from your views if you watch their videos. You know what you are basically doing is that what's happening is that while you are watching their videos, then you are compromising with the some other essential elements of your strategy, that is making notes. Ask yourself, have you made a 2 pages notes? Have you made 2 pages notes on every topic of the paper? Have you made 2 pages notes on the essential things which you feel will come in the exam? No. Then why are you going and watching their videos? They will serve no purpose. Have you prepared your static well? No. They will also not tell you this thing, you prepare these things before watching these discussions. This is the simple thing. I think that we should invest in the newspaper, the Hindu or the Indian Express. They come up with a I guess 1500 rupees a subscription. You can buy it, like I'm not promoting them, and it is an yearly subscription, so each and every year you are spending 150, and I'm giving you a hack. What you can do is, like, I also personally didn't purchase it. I have the account of a friend of mine. She gave me this thing, and it very much works even if there are more than 2 people. So you can do something like that. It is a very effective way. It gives you a very classic feel, very royal feel when you read the newspaper on the screen. So just try it for once. Just do the things yourself. You're gonna become a person who will regulate or manage, take care of the entire district. You cannot outsource this silly thing to somebody else and tell them to spoon feed you, right? mm, why mains is important, I have told you. Like uh, it is whose marks will be calculated in the examination. If you perform exceptionally well here, like Shruti Sharma, she didn't even need to get marks in the interview, any marks. Had she got even 0 marks in the interview, then only she would have got her name there in the final list. Such should be your mains, right? When it will be like that, when you will make notes. Look at the notes made by Shruti Sharma, they are super brilliant. Please nothing, I had already. Well, questions all come from syllabus, directly from syllabus. It should be mugged up. Have you mugged it up? No, you haven't. Have you analyzed the PYQs? No, you haven't. Do you watch the discussions? Yes, very religiously. Sorry for the interruption, guys. Somebody came at the door, and I don't know where were we. I guess we were at why nobody speak the truth. Yeah, so they have got their own vested interests, right? This hyper reality is so very overpowering, dominating, omnipresent, that it keeps you away from the reality. People like me are very rare to come there and tell you emphatically. Those who are your own people, like what matters is 2 page notes from any authentic source that you make with your own hands, and revision and revision with some practice at the same time, so as to achieve the fruitful reproduction and gain some good marks. This is very few people who would come there and tell you. Most of the people, most of the time, would be making stupid videos on the current affairs, on the other part of the syllabus, while they will not serve much purpose, because it is not about listening or watching the game. The entire game is not about listening and watching something, is get about getting the knowledge. Now there would be some people who would come and say that they are giving us knowledge. It is not the knowledge which matters, it is just the way how you approach it. It is not the knowledge that matters. For that matter, uh, you bring any person, any like, just ask a judge for that matter, or any retired uh, secretary, or any working serving secretary, any member from the commission himself, to sit in the examination. Would he be able to get good marks? No, he won't, because the demand of the examination is such that there are 20 questions which you will have to answer in just 3 hours. Okay, so you need good speed upon that. On your hand, you need fair enough content, and you need multiple revisions, so that it comes to your mind, it clicks to your mind very very quickly, and you can reproduce it. Now what comes to your mind quickly? The facts, The data, the information which you have gathered from multiple resources scattered here and there. If you listen some Ponley IAS video, multiple times, because every second and third day he would be speaking upon some human resource issue, for example, education, vulnerable section, poverty, hunger. Every other day he would be discussing some article. Now these things are very scattered there, right? It would be very stupid if you make your notes from there. So why the heck are you watching them, right? Will you be able to consolidate all of them, process that all of them, just like artificial intelligence, chat GPT, or the generative AI does, and make an answer here? No, you are human. When will you be able to answer the question? The moment you see a question from your poverty or hunger, the moment you see a question from your poverty, hunger, and what gets clicked in your mind is a pictographical image of the notes which you have made, and you bring all those points in the same sequence or in a different sequence here. Now here I rest my case. This is the entire secret, right? Note making, I have already told you why is it important. Syllabus is the backbone, is the backbone. You will not be making note on any random topic, any periphery topic. Make note either on the syllabus or on something which is very much there in news. For example, NATO is there. For example, apna Russia Ukraine is going on now, Palestine and apna Israel is going on, G20 is there. Make notes on these current themes, and apart from that, from static, from the syllabus, right? Exam is very simple, right? We make it difficult, right? Then this syllabus, I have told you, it would serve as the backbone. Coachings will not tell you this thing. It would hurt their revenue, right? And what happens is that recently I heard the news ki government agency imposed a fine of some lakhs of rupees on multiple famous reputed coaching institutes. Why? Because they were falsely claiming the candidates. So a person was there, some religious guru, koi sannyasi the, they were speaking on something. I watched a video clip on the YouTube, that how easily, how cheaply does the IAS IPS officers who get good ranks get sold to these coaching institutes. Go there, give the topper talks there, and allow them to use their name, and to do the publicity. I agree that maybe they do not say that they come from these institutes, but at the same time, if some big institutes, oh my god, if some big institute is writing your name there, is saying that you were our student, and that news because it appears on the front page of a very reputed newspaper, then ethically you should go and complain about it. If you have not got the money, firstly you should not get the money. It is completely illegal and unethical. But even if you haven't got the money and somebody is misusing or abusing your name, then you should go and complain. But no, you would not. So the coaching institutes, they would be like, they would continue, they would keep on claiming you as their student, and this will do, this will result in the process of fooling the innocent aspirants. The aspirants will continue getting fooled. Nature of the exam is very mechanical. I have told you, it's not for the intellectuals, for the person with the huge curiosity or inquisitiveness in their mind. It is only for those who are good at mugging up the things and reproducing them with a fair aptitude. But not very high level of aptitude is needed. Discipline is ultra necessary, is very very necessary. Commodity fetish in the market economy, I told you, I explained you through the concept of marks. Now their things do not have the use value, things have the exchange value. कि कितने का कोर्स है भाई ये वाला, है ना, वो वाला इतने का, ये वाला इतने का, ये वाले में इतने टेस्ट देगा, वो वाले में उतने टेस्ट देगा. I remember I bought Insights test series at 15,000 rupees. There were 40 tests. I went to Insight because Insight was offering 40 tests. बहुत पहले की बात है ये. And I did not write even a single test, not even a single question for that matter was written by me. I gave it to a good friend of mine, Achal, that you can write the questions there. So this is what happens. So what I was basically seeing is the exchange value, right? What is needed is use value. Do we really need it? Is it of some use? The question there in the insights test series were very weird. They would never come in the real examination. Because so just because they are to frame the questions for the 40 papers, then they would put anything and everything. The very first question from the art and culture was like Kashmiri art or the art of apna Himalayas, something question which was very very peripheral in the nature. On the first day, you are giving such a question to a person, and what would be the use of it? There is no use of it. Anyways, DNA, DND, newspaper editorial, YouTube fraud. This is a kind of fraud. Okay, beware of it. Do things yourself. Buy a newspaper. You know, make some friendships. You know, buy the subscription of any newspaper. I do not support anybody, and just read it yourself. Read it yourself. It will help you. See, in the sociology, we read about latent function and latent dysfunction, latent function and manifest functions. This is the latent function of the newspaper, that your reading skills, writing skills, uh, they see the improvement. Apart from that, they will help you in your CSAT comprehensions. It will help you in your personality test, you know. And what if you are outsourcing it to some platform on the YouTube, then you will be kept away from the other 20 news that appears in the newspaper, because newspaper essentially has more than 80 news. Out of them, at least 20 to 25 are of some relevance. You should, at least keep your eyes through them. But what happens is, when you watch any newspaper analysis, then they do the analysis किस perspective से they do the analysis in context of your UPSC exam paper in a very used detail, in detailed manner. So what essentially happens is that the same item you would be reading from your notes. The same item you are getting the same item from somebody else. Some other day you will watch some other discussion, or suppose that you will watch the same discussion, you are another day you are getting it in a different manner or a format or form. The same, say women पे कोई है question, you have made it your own notes. You are watching some editorial, so he would also discuss on women. If some issue comes up there, some editorial comes up there, it could be for environment, it could be for security, it could be for hunger, parliament, for any topic. The crux remains that prepare the notes for these important topics out of the syllabus, and you are good to go. Don't fall in the trap. Mains is very simple yet very difficult. I've told you this thing. It is very simple. It's about syllabus, PYQ analysis, making notes, revising them, doing some practice, and reproducing them. It is that simple. But we actually make it complicated. There is infodemia. Don't fall in the trap of infodemia, right? There is distraction. There is lack of ratta. Yeah, one another myth is that ki rectification is not necessary. It is an analytical paper. And one another subsidiary myth is that even if you write in paragraphical format, then that is okay. The toppers, they, I might be committing some errors, some grammatical errors. Maybe I'm not able to present myself well when I'm speaking to you, but I'm just telling you the raw facts. I'm speaking here very candidly and in an straightforward manner, unlike the toppers who do the rehearsal and present them in a very sophisticated manner. And they actually, there is a concept called political correctness. So you do not say the things which you think might hurt the sentiments of some people, right? So for example, there is a thing like all religions are equal. Now it has a huge potential to hurt the sentiment, but just only to speak, I'm saying that. So the fact is that no, all religions are not same. Like there are Brahminic religions, there are Abrahamic religions, some religions who are inherently pluralistic, some other religion who are monolithic, monochromatic in nature, like believes in one book, one god, one prophet, one belief, something like that. So this is a false thing. But just for the political correctness, sake of political correctness, we say that ki all religions are equal, all religions lead to God, and blah blah blah. This is political correctness. So in the same way, in UPSC we have got some UPSC correctness, something of that sort of. We have the political correctness in the UPSC also. What toppers would generally say is that it is up to you. If you want to write in paragraphical format, then you can write in paragraphical format, or you are good to write in, you are happy, you're comfortable writing in the points format, then you can write in points format. It is totally up to you. You can write in any way you want. So this is completely false, right? You are supposed to write only in the points format. That's it. For that matter, even in the optional, you should try to adapt this method in multiple questions and majority of questions. So do not fall in the trap of such political correctness on the media by the toppers. Gone are the days. Now there is cut thought competition. Look at the copy of Shruti or any other topper for that matter. You do not get marks when you write in paragraphical format. It becomes very difficult for the person who is evaluating to go through your answer. Now another important thing which I am shedding some light on, you are given like 20 to 30 copies each day. You are supposed to read 20 to 30 copies each day. Now, do you expect the person who is evaluating copy to go through each and every word which you have written? Do you expect him? Have you ever checked or evaluated any copy for that matter? If you do, then you will find that the only thing that you see is there the structure. For example, if the question is asking two questions, there are two questions subsumed in the larger question, then you must have made two headings. This is one, this is second. You must be giving proper spacing, proper alignment. You must be keeping proper alignment. The font should be clear, the writing should be legible. These are the first things which matter. Then after that, content matter. Is there content in your, if the former things which I mentioned are very bad, then no matter how good is your content, the person will not be able to read it. Make the copy pleasing so as to make it understandable, legible and impressive for the evaluator. I hope you are getting my point. Where were we? So I forgot, like, where did we start from? Yeah, so I was saying that what is the perspective of the evaluator. Yeah, so we were at the debate of paragraph versus point, right? So if you are writing something in the point, it becomes very easy. Your job is to make the job of evaluator easy. If you do it, if your copy is getting checked in a shorter period of time, then voila, you get good marks. If you are making the job of the evaluator difficult, then it would be difficult for you to get the marks. This is simple. Consider this copy versus the copy like this. This is well presented, this is well structured, this is written in a nicely aligned manner. So this copy will get more marks. A paragraphical format, it is very difficult. In the point format, see, if you are an evaluator, you are supposed to give marks out of 10 to somebody. So there should be some objective parameter based on which you will give your marks. So psychologically speaking, if you have written the points, then the person will think कि अच्छा एक नंबर इस पॉइंट का दे देता हूँ, दूसरा नंबर इस पॉइंट का, तीसरा नंबर इस पॉइंट का, 4, 4, 5, है ना, एक नंबर इंट्रो कंक्लूजन का, राइट? If you have written in the paragraphical format, it would be very difficult to allot you the numbers. And in this race, what happens कि you are not given benefit of the doubt. इधर benefit of the doubt आपको मिल जाता है. Like if you have written point, अच्छा एक point लिखा है, कुछ तो लिखा ही होगा अच्छा सा, है ना? And if you highlight the important word, restrict the vision of the evaluator onto some most important words, phrases which you have written either in capital or SF SE, and then box them or underline them and put them into the inverted comma, then you are very highly likely to get the marks. So these all gimmicks would work in when you write in a point format and not in paragraphical format. So I hope the things are clear. Focus on the core, avoid the periphery. I've told you 2-page notes is nirvana. This is the crux. So after speaking much on the issue, let us completely shift our concentration, our focus onto the paper. This is GS3 and we would be talking about the GS2. As I told you that it is very essential for you to go to the syllabus. Each and everything is taken from the syllabus, right? The very first question, okay, let us go to the syllabus and then go to the question, right? In the syllabus you will get this structure, just a second. Structure, organization, functioning of the executive and the judiciary. Judiciary is very important topic, like your democracy has got 3+: executive, legislature and judiciary, and every year some questions are asked on it. So judiciary was very much in the question for various reasons, है ना? A question can be very much expected on the judiciary. Judicial independence पे question है. It's directly taken from the syllabus. Why is it so? Because जो अपने किरण रिजिजू हैं, फॉर्मर लॉ मिनिस्टर थे अपने जस्टिस के, he was very obstinate or obdurate about changing the system, changing the way judges are appointed, है ना? Government came up with NJSE and Supreme Court struck it down, declaring it null and void, and said that this would infringe or impinge on the independence of the judiciary. This is one thing. Second thing is कि of late there were some decisions by the government, by the executive, which were backed up by the judiciary for triple talaq, Ram Mandir, 370, some other cases, so some other sporadic incidents like Bilkis Bano का जो rapist थे, 11 rapist, उनकी release. So we get to know about judicial subversion. They actually, this is the allegation. I'm not saying that, this is the allegation that in some way judiciary is getting compromised. So there are various ways which you were expected to mention here. The question was very much expected, directly taken from the syllabus. Now we have got NALSA is again comes under the point judiciary. NALSA falls under this head also, judiciary and quasi judicial body. जब आप पढ़ोगे, of course you will read about NALSA. Now the quasi judicial body which was asked was CCI, that is your Competition Commission of India. ये है Competition Commission of India. ठीक है. We have got one question on the comparison, and this time जिससे compare करने को बोला था was Britain. ब्रिटिश और इंडियन अप्रोच टू पार्लियामेंट्री सोवरेनिटी लक्ष्मीकांत के एंड में सीधा सीधा टॉपिक दिया हुआ है. सो दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द स्टैटिक एंड एज वेल एज फ्रॉम द डायरेक्टली टेकन फ्रॉम द अपना सिलेबस, राइट. कंपैरिजन ऑफ एक सेपरेट हेड है कि कंपैरिजन ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन विद द अदर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, ये है अपना, राइट. देन वी हैव गॉट क्वेश्चन ऑन अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज़. एक सेपरेट हेड है अपना सिलेबस में, फाइनेंसेस टू द लोकल बॉडीज़. कहाँ पर है? ये है फाइनेंसेस टू दी लोकल बॉडीज, व्हाट आर दी प्रॉब्लम्स देयर. उसका एक क्वेश्चन पूछा है. कोई भी आप टॉपिक करो देन यू आर सपोज टू डिवाइड इट इनटू 4 हेड, लाइक बैकग्राउंड, व्हाट्स द इशू, लाइक प्रॉब्लम, व्हाट्स द सॉल्यूशन, व्हाट आर द मेजर्स टेकन बाय द गवर्नमेंट, व्हाट आर द शॉर्टकमिंग्स, व्हाट आर द वे फॉरवर्ड, है ना. सो इन दिस मैनर यू कैन डिवाइड एनी इशू और यू कैन कंप्लीट एनी इशू, यू कैन मेक नोट्स ऑन एनी इशू. थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड है ना, स्टैटिक्स लाइक फैक्ट्स, स्टैट्स, है ना, इशू क्या है, सॉल्यूशन क्या है, मेजर्स के लिए गए, फिर शॉर्टकमिंग्स अभी क्या रही हैं, फिर वे फॉरवर्ड क्या है. देन वी हैव गॉट अ क्वेश्चन ऑन द प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर्स ऑफ द स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर. स्पीकर के रोल पे ऑफन क्वेश्चंस आर रेज्ड, लाइक बी इट द स्पीकर, बी इट द चेयरमैन ऑफ द स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव्स और ऑफ द लोकसभा. कि अपने यहाँ क्या होता है ना, अनलाइक ब्रिटेन और यूएस, अपने यहाँ स्पीकर रिमेन्स ऑब्लाइज, नॉट ऑब्लाइज बट एसोसिएटेड विद द पार्टी, विद द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, विद द रूलिंग पार्टी, है ना. तो स्पीकर पे ऑफन क्वेश्चंस आर रेज्ड ऑफ हिज बायसनेस, राइट, ऑफ हिज support, inclination, or proclivity towards the ruling party. So this was very much in news. If you go and read about the speaker, then yeah, here we get where is it, legislatures. तो लेजिस्लेचर का जो हेड होगा उसके ऊपर तो क्वेश्चन आएगा ही ना, स्पीकर. It is directly from the syllabus. If you prepare the legislature, what are the problems in the legislature, then the very first problem which comes the very first issue which comes is कि जो स्पीकर है और जो भी अपना हेड है, प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर है, वो अनबायस्ड नहीं है, राइट. एंड नेक्स्ट मूविंग डाउन वी हैव गॉट अ क्वेश्चन ऑन ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट. ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट जो है सोशल जस्टिस और गवर्नेंस वाले से है, और ये सीधा सीधा इधर दिया हुआ है ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट, हेल्थ, एजुकेशन. ना ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट के अंदर क्या आप डालोगे, कैसे ह्यूमन रिसोर्स बढ़ाओगे, हेल्थ सही करके, एजुकेशन दे के, एम्प्लॉयमेंट दे के, यानी कि पॉवर्टी हटा के, हंगर हटा के. सो इवन द आंसर कैन बी वेरी मच फाउंड फ्रॉम द सिलेबस. दिस इज अ हैक और ट्रिक विच जनरली पीपल डू नॉट disclose in the public. So if you mark up the syllabus well, then you can make various points from the syllabus only, right. फिर अपना क्या था, फिर अपना था ई गवर्नेंस, डायरेक्टली लिफ्टेड वर्बेटिम, डायरेक्टली, वेयर इज इट, yeah, here we go, important aspects of the governance. इसके अंदर ई गवर्नेंस आएगा. एंड ई गवर्नेंस इज वेरी वेरी मच इन न्यूज़. द फोकस विच द गवर्नमेंट हैज़ given to the digitalization, this mission of digital India, it's immense, it's just tremendous. So this was very much expected to come. Always target the broader areas, broader themes, जो बड़े issues हैं, they would come in the examination. Even if you were, for that matter, to frame the questions, then you will not make a question on citizen charter, because it is a very narrow issue, right, citizen charter. On the other hand, e-governance. Now, each and every part of the governance is influenced by the e-governance. For that matter, even the services, the service delivery mechanisms in the rural areas, grassroots levels, are based on the e-governance. Your Gem Trinity, Jandan Aadhar, और आपका जो खाते खुल रहे हैं वो सब, M governance, UPI. This was very much expected, this question on e-governance, right. Next, coming to the IR part. IR में आपका India and neighborhood is the very first topic, and when we talk about neighborhood, then China is one. China में काफ़ी टाइम से questions नहीं आया था. If you analyze the trend, which you should, then China पे question was very much expected, but question came on SEO, and China was an integral part of the answer, right. Virus of conflict is affecting the functioning of SEO. In the light of the above statement, point out the role of India in mitigating the problems, right. Another thing is कि Indian diaspora has scaled new heights in the West. Describe its economic and political benefits for India. It is again directly taken from the syllabus here. Now moving on, we have got a question ki illustrated with special reference, the expanding horizons of the right to life and personal liberty, that is article 21. UPSC has been consistently asking questions on the fundamental rights, and how the judicial pronouncements have affected them, have broadened the scope of your right to life and liberty. इसमें आपको cases छापने थे, and this was very much expected. When you see that Indian Constitution, इसमें आपका आ गया FR Indian Constitution के अंदर, फिर आपका इधर लिखा हुआ है कि evolution, और फिर हैं आपके amendments, है ना. तो this was taken from this part of the syllabus. Then we have got question on gender justice. Women पे क्वेश्चन आते ही है. होता क्या है ना, थीम वही रहेंगी, will more or less remain the same. There would be a question on women. So not every year they would directly put the word women there, so as to make it look like the question is different, they would play with the words, right. तो उधर लिखा हुआ है gender justice. Again, the case laws and constitutional provisions become important. So last year UPSC introduced this thing, case laws, constitutional provisions. So last year was the trailer, and this year was full movie, like each and every question was backed by was backed by these case laws at the end. आपको case laws डालना ही डालना है, judgments डालने ही है. Anyways, account for the legal and political factors responsible for the reduced frequency of using Article 365, 356 by the Union governments since mid 1990s. The question is on emergency, directly taken from your Lakshmikant. और स्टैटिक नहीं था, थोड़ा बहुत इम्प्रोवाइज करना पड़ेगा आपको ऑफ कोर्स इफ़ यू आर अवेयर अबाउट द पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस, राइट, पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस हिस्ट्री, तो आप थोड़ा बहुत कर सकते थे. फेडरलिज्म पे क्वेश्चन था ये मोरलेस, है ना. चेंजेस कैसे कैसे हुए फेडरलिज्म में जब हम पढ़ते हैं, तो दिस इज़ व्हाट वी स्टडी. ऐसे आपको कनेक्ट आना चाहिए कि दिस क्वेश्चन इज़ फ्रॉम फेडरलिज्म, दिस क्वेश्चन इज़ फ्रॉम एमरजेंसी, राइट. Discuss the contribution of the civil society. Now the word civil society itself is not mentioned, but here we have got pressure group and formal and informal associations and their role in the polity. So this very much means the civil society, है ना. समटाइम्स वर्बेटिम उठा के डाल लेता है, बट नॉट ऑल द टाइम वर्बेटिम उठा के डालेगा, नहीं तो क्वेश्चन तो पूरा का पूरा ऐसा लगेगा कि पूरा पेपर ही जो है सिलेबस से आया है ना. तो दे हैव रिटन सिविल सोसाइटी. हाँ, दैट्स अनदर थिंग कि क्वेश्चन बहुत डिटेल में पूछा था कि द रोल ऑफ द सिविल सोसाइटी फॉर वुमेन्स एम्पावरमेंट, मीनिंगफुल पार्टिसिपेशन एंड रिप्रेजेंटेशन इन स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर. तो उसमें थोड़ा फेंकना पड़ता है ना, या फिर आप लिख सकते थे क्वेश्चन. तो मोरलेस थीम अपनी जानना है, सिविल सोसाइटी है और विमेन के लिए जो जो करा वो आप लिख के आ जाइए. 15th question, 101 constitutional amendment. To what extent does it reflect the accommodative spirit of federalism? पे direct question आया. And when we talk of federalism, उसके कई सारे verticals हैं, और जब financial vertical आता है तो उसमें GST की बात होती है. It was very much in news and every another year alternatively, और I guess कभी कभी तो जो है consecutively भी UPSC ने पूछा है GST पर question. Explain the structure of the parliament committee system and how far have the financial committees helped in the institutionalization of Indian parliament. So there was a report or a debate going on that a lot of bills were passed without submitting them to the parliamentary committees for the scrutiny, examination and analysis. ठीक है. Around 80% of the bill were passed compared to the last Lok Sabha or last session or term, where 8% or 20% were passed without the scrutiny of the committee. So this was again very much in news. And when we look at the syllabus, we get the heading parliamentary and state legislatures, structure, functioning, conduct of business, and powers, privileges and issues arising out of them. So this is a major issue of our parliament, right? Very much expected. Then we have got a question on development and welfare skills for vulnerable nature, discriminatory and approach. We agree, give reasons for your answer, है ना. So of course you will mention some welfare schemes for the vulnerable section, and again taken verbatim from the syllabus, welfare schemes for the vulnerable section. But the tone of the question is very analytical in nature. Will check your acumen, will check your aptitude कि कितने अच्छे से आप इसे अटेंड कर पा रहे हो, है ना. खैर अपन जो है डेप्थ में नहीं जाएंगे यहाँ पर. Moving on to the next question, skill development program succeeded in increasing human resource supply by various sectors. In the context of this statement, analyze the linkages between the education, skill and employment. Skill पे मोदी सरकार का the first focus is on अपना e-governance, second is on skill, third is on culture. So if we look at the syllabus, then issues relating to the development, management or social sector or services related to the health, education and human resource, ना. Health है, education है, skill है. So this was again very much a question from the syllabus. If you have prepared the notes on it, then you could have answered the syllabus understanding the demand of the question, है ना. Next is the expansion and the strengthening of NATO and a stronger US-Europe strategic partnership works well for India. What's your opinion about this statement? Give reasons and examples to support your answer. NATO पे question was very much expected because of the issue going on between the Ukraine and Russia for a very long time. Ukraine is backed by NATO. So though it is not an organization which India is very much associated with, but still it becomes necessary since this was the issue of global significance, right? So we saw a question on NATO. If you learn about this issue, Ukraine, Russia, then of course you will study about NATO. NATO is at the heart of it, And if you learn about the ramifications on Indian interests, then you are supposed to read about the NATO, right? तो हो जाएगा question. This was the question which was out of nowhere, like out of the blue, but still, since you are given the full form of IMO, International Maritime Organization, so you can do some kind of bol bachan here with the logic. You can open verticals, various verticals, and make generic points, right? This was the paper, and the intention or motive behind making this video and discussing this paper was to let you know that whole paper almost comes from the syllabus, comes from directly from the syllabus. What you need to do is to have 2 pages notes on every part of the syllabus. Give large importance to the things which are dynamic and often asked based on the pattern analysis that you have done going through the PYQs. So for that matter, we have seen the question directly or indirectly coming about the evolution of the constitution, that is the amendments, mainly in the FR, that is fundamental rights, especially the fundamental rights like 19, like 14, like 21. So you should learn about them, right? फेडरलिज्म पे एक क्वेश्चन आनी है, फाइनेंसेस टू लोकल बॉडीज PRI और ULB, इन पे क्वेश्चन आना है. देन कंपैरिजन पे क्वेश्चन आता है, समटाइम्स वेरी नॉट unpopular countries are given, but this time Britain was given, so it was easy relatively. Legislature पे क्वेश्चन आना है, the issues you should be aware of them. Pressure group informal bodies पे क्वेश्चन आना है, could be on it is on the same thing, but it could be with different names, like civil society mention करती है, but essentially things remain the same, right? उतने nuanced way में आप अगर pressure group भी mention करोगे ना वहाँ, तो the evaluator will not get into the nitty gritty is this is a pressure group or this is a civil society, no, है ना? So had you prepared some notes on them, some facts there, like facts हर टॉपिक पे फैक्ट्स क्या होते हैं ना, एक तो आर्टिकल्स योर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं वो, लाइक एग्जाम्पल, सम केस स्टडीज, एंड लाइक इशूज़, व्हाट आर द इशूज़, देन व्हाट आर द सॉल्यूशंस, द मेजर्स टेकन, मेन इज़ द मेजर्स, है ना? और कुछ पेपर स्पेसिफिक रहते हैं, जैसे इफ़ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट पॉलिटी देन वी शुड बी अवेयर ऑफ द केसेस, जजमेंट्स, है ना? इस केस में ये हुआ, उस केस में नालसा है अपना, और अलग अलग केसेस हैं अपने, राइट? So this is the way like you are supposed to make notes on anyways. Next, moving on to the quasi judicial bodies, like CCI was very much in news and it came in the vision also. So one another thing which I wanted to tell you, like previously when I was immature, I did not have much guidance. I took that insights test series, which was a year-long test series. So if you clear the prelims, you are supposed to, it should be like you should be restricted to that year's test series only from some good reputed institute, not any other test series, because half of the paper, the actual examination paper, would be solved from the question that you get in the test series. Test series are designed very meticulously. There is a team who has analyzed the trends, and based on that they put the question. So I appeared in the Abhyas of Vision, Bhai Joga Singh School it was, and there we got this question CCI, है ना? And it appeared in the, एक बार तो ऐसा हुआ था ना इसके पहले वाले मेंस में, आई गेस अभी भी मेरा ढोलपुरी सेंटर था, एंड बिफोर दैट ऑल्सो आई हैड ढोलपुर एज माई सेंटर. तो विजन के एथिक्स के क्वेश्चन रिपीट हो रहे हैं. सम क्वेश्चन लाइक व्हाट इज़ राइट इज़ नॉट, इफ समथिंग इज़ राइट यू डू नॉट हैव द राइट टू डू इट, और इफ़ यू हैव गॉट द राइट टू डू इट, ऐसा कुछ था, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो इट अपीयर्ड इन द एक्चुअल एग्जामिनेशन. So how is it possible? So they what they do is keep people in these coaching institutes, they take the quotations from the newspaper like Indian Express, और वो ये जो कोट्स रहते हैं वो वहाँ पर आते हैं इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में, और जो पेपर सेटर है वो भी माइट बी टेकिंग द कोट्स फ्रॉम देयर, है ना? सो व्हाट आई एम बेसिकली सेइंग इज़ दैट GS में pick a good test series, don't pick a year long test series. इस ideally pick a test series जो उसी टाइम की हो, और उसके बाद फिर एक आप रियल टाइम मॉक टेस्ट सीरीज ज्वाइन कर सकते हो. फॉर एग्जांपल अभ्यास है ना, दैट वुड बी इनफ. लाइक 12 इसके टेस्ट प्लस 4 इसके टेस्ट आर मोर देन इनफ, राइट. And so yeah, this was it. There are 4 topics inside the international relations. NATO was expected because it is a global grouping. Indian diaspora completely from the syllabus. International institution IMO है, तो this was something which was out of the blue, but you aren't supposed to leave it because it was very generic in nature, so you could have framed question on it, because ocean has been the important topic which UPSC asked question on, be it your prelims or your mains. So you can write something on it, if not like completely answer it, but you can write fairly remotely things which are remotely related to the topic. So I have got a document here. I discussed the syllabus and I tried to tell you the relations, the parallels between the syllabus and between the question paper, because understand the mentality of the paper setter. No, paper setter is not gonna take the question from the Hindu or the Indian Express or the discussions which you watch on the YouTube. Paper setter is not going to take the questions from any magazine. Paper setter will not take the questions from any government publication like Yojana. What he would be taking the questions, drawing the questions from is your syllabus. सो मच सो दैट ये सीक्वेंस भी सेम ही रहता है. लाइक इधर से इधर तक पॉलिटी के क्वेश्चंस आएंगे जो ये भगवा कलर में दिख रहे हैं, एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट इन ब्लू इज़ योर क्वेश्चंस गवर्नेंस और सोशल जस्टिस के, एंड आफ्टर दैट यू हैव 9 and 10 क्वेश्चंस कमिंग फ्रॉम IR, एंड आफ्टर दैट वी हैव गॉट 19 and 20 कमिंग फ्रॉम दी IR, है ना. सो दिस इज़ वाई PYQ एनालिसिस बिकम वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अदरवाइज आपको यही नहीं मालूम होगा कि सीक्वेंस क्या है क्वेश्चन का. सो इन केस यू डू नॉट हैव ए idea about some question or there is confusion about some question, and if you are aware of the sequence marking कि इस टॉपिक से इस नंबर पे क्वेश्चन आता है, then you will be able to draw some relation, है ना. So suppose this is question on development and welfare schemes. You know it is from social justice, so you will go to the social justice in your mind, welfare scheme and vulnerable section of the population by the center and state, mechanism, laws, institutions, bodies, protection and betterment of these issues like health, education, human resource. These points will get unfolded in your mind and you will be able to answer them based on the syllabus, right? So this is why it is important to make the notes on the syllabus, to not get swayed by the infodemic, by the frauds going on in the market, by the distractions, deviations in the market. Stick to the simple approach of making the notes and revising them multiple times. I have shown here with proof. I have done nothing, but I have just opened the paper and at the side by side I opened the syllabus and showed you how each and everything is from the syllabus, right? If you go on listening to the people out there, their discussions, and not make your own notes, then you'll be paying heavily in the examination there, right? So I'll be opening this document. Most of the things you can see can be predicted. They have put a lot of things, but what you are supposed to do is to take the topics, issues which are very much in the news. For example, Rahul Gandhi, recent disqualification of Rahul Gandhi and the ambiguity surrounding this. So ROPA is very important. Each and every year a question is asked, है ना, just because it was asked in 2022, so 2023 में chances कम हो जाते हैं, but still this can be related to the independence of judiciary, क्योंकि वो जो judge I guess in the High Court of Gujarat, he also approved the 2-year punishment to Rahul Gandhi, and which some people, some eminent jurists said that was not very much aligned to the values of constitution because it was against the freedom of speech, right? Anyways, so yeah, this is very much important, and this appeared in the examination. Governor पे कोई question हो, I don't think governor पे कोई question आया. There was a question on the presiding officer, that is the speaker, but there was no question, just a second. Yeah, just a second, just a. Yeah, so there was no question on the governor, but these are some hot topics which you should study about. Like UCC was very much in news, electoral bond was in news, governor was in news, and federalism was in news because of the ongoing disputes, right? फेडरलिज्म पे भी हैड अ क्वेश्चन, एक तो डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन था कि उसका एवोल्यूशन कैसा हुआ है, और एक अपना क्वेश्चन था इमरजेंसी पे कि इमरजेंसी लगना बंद हो गई है, कम हो गई है, और एक और अपना क्वेश्चन था जीएसटी पे, फाइनेंशियल फेडरलिज्म, राइट? इंटर स्टेट काउंसिल, इट इज़ अगेन रिलेटेड टू द फेडरलिज्म के अंदर आप इसे डाल सकते हो, मेंशन तो कर ही सकते हो कहीं ना कहीं, राइट? पब्लिक अकाउंट कमेटी पे एक क्वेश्चन था कि जो पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी है उनका रोल कम हो गया है एंड स्क्रूटनी वगैरह कम हुई है ना, तो ये इन्होंने बता दिया था कि इस पे क्वेश्चन आएगा, राइट? ये बता दिया था, राइट? एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ महाराष्ट्र में जो था, तो एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ जब भी आता है ना तो अपने स्पीकर की बात आ जाती है ना, प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर की, और प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर पे क्वेश्चन अपन ने देखा कि आया था, है ना? सो दिस वाज अगेन वेरी मच इन द न्यूज़ एंड वाज प्रेडिक्टेड एज वेल टू अपीयर इन द एग्जामिनेशन, राइट? बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट सोवरेनिटी बेस्ड इन जुडिशियल ओवररीच, है ना? जुडिशियल ओवररीच, लॉ मिनिस्टर मैंने आपको बोला था किरण रिजिजू वाज वेरी वोकल, वेरी वॉसिफेरसली वोकल फॉर दिस इशू। तो ऑनरेबल वाइस प्रेसिडेंट जगदीप धनखड़ जी जो हैं वो भी बोल रहे थे कि साहब चेंजेस होना चाहिए कोलिजियम सिस्टम में, है ना, नहीं तो आपका वही नेपोटिज्म फेवरेटिज्म चलता जाएगा। और एक रिपोर्ट आई थी उसने बोला था कि 150 फैमिलीज़ हैं बस, वही किथ एंड किन्स जो हैं सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस टिल नाउ अभी तक जो है जुडिशरी में बैठे हुए हैं एज जजेस, है ना। तो भाई जुडिशरी आप इतने बड़े बड़े निर्णय निकाल रहे हो आर्टिकल 21 में 14 में राइट टू इक्वालिटी वगैरह डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन के लिए, फ्रीडम के लिए, और आप खुद जो है यदि इतने एक्सक्लूजनरी प्रैक्टिसेस अपनाओगे यदि, तो मज़ा नहीं आएगा। ऐसा कुछ वॉज द कंटेंशन ऑफ द पीपल who were trying to change the collegiate system. Of course the changes should be there, but ऐसा भी नहीं कि बिल्कुल ही जुडिशरी की सबवर्जन कर दो आप इंडिपेंडेंस की, जस्ट लाइक NJAC ने किया। एक कोई मिडिल पाथ शुड बी डिस्कवर्ड बाय द म्यूचुअल कंसेंसस, ओके। तो ये हमने क्वेश्चन देखा, इस पे आया था, है ना, रेस्ट्रिक्शन ऑन द फ्रीडम ऑफ राइट 21 पे क्वेश्चन आया, तो ये वॉज वेरी मच प्रेडिक्टेड, राइट। रोल ऑफ जुडिशरी इन स्ट्रेंथनिंग ECI इशूज सराउंडिंग ECI, latest judgment of SC concerning the appointment of CEC, election commission पे was not there, question was not there। declining role of parliament इन्होंने प्रेडिक्ट किया, और एक क्वेश्चन आया भी था कि है ना पार्लियामेंट्री कमिटीज़ जो है दे आर नॉट वर्किंग प्रॉपरली, है ना। सो या दिस वाज वेरी मच प्रेडिक्टेड। सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड ह्यूमन राइट्स जजमेंट, Supreme Court in the last few years has given judgment on the human rights based on the international laws and treaties. Also, USC has been asking the questions from this topic like every year, example constitutionalism and environmentalism. तो ये वाला क्वेश्चन जो है 11वां क्वेश्चन, द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया इज living document with the capabilities of enormous dynamism, and it is a constitution made for the progress of society, illustrated with the reference to expanding horizons of right to speech and personal liberty। देखो कितना प्यारा इन्होंने जो है वो प्रेडिक्ट किया था इंस्टीट्यूट ने, और वैसा का वैसा आ गया। नॉट सपोर्टिंग एनी इंस्टीट्यूट बट लव्ड दिस डॉक्यूमेंट, आई एम नॉट सपोर्टिंग एनी इंस्टीट्यूट बट आई जस्ट लव्ड दिस डॉक्यूमेंट ऑन द सिमिलर लाइन्स। द पर्पस रिमेन सेम, सो एज टू शो यू फर्स्टली सिलेबस से नोट्स बना के याद करना है, सेकेंडली जो करंट वाली चीज़ें स्पेशली फॉर पेपर 2 एंड पेपर 3 कैन बी प्रेडिक्टेड, यू नो। फिर अपना 69 कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट दिल्ली वर्सेस EG, तो ये फेडरलिज्म के अंदर आ सकता है ये वाला, मतलब जो इधर पूछा है ना फेडरलिज्म पे, कहाँ गया वेयर इज इट, कहीं चला गया। इफ देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑन फेडरलिज्म देन यू कैन मेंशन इट, है ना। आफ्टर दैट ये सब चीज़ें नहीं थी, लेकिन हाँ थोड़े मोड़े हेट स्पीच वगैरह थी, ये सब आप ऑप्शन मेंशन कर सकते हो, एज एन एग्जांपल आपके आंसर्स में मेंशन कर सकते हो, राइट। 11th क्वेश्चन में ये मेंशन हो सकता था। कंट्रोवर्सी सराउंडिंग द कोलिजियन सिस्टम, इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ जुडिशरी, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ही पूछा गया था, है ना। रिसेंट लॉ कमीशन ऑन द वर्किंग ऑफ ट्राइब्यूनल्स। तो ट्राइब्यूनल्स भी इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ जुडिशरी से लिंक किया जा सकता है, क्योंकि ना ट्राइब्यूनल्स के चलते एग्जीक्यूटिव का रोल बढ़ जाता है और जुडिशरी की इंडिपेंडेंस कम हो जाती है, राइट। सो यदि आप इन्हें ही अकेले पढ़ लेना, जस्ट टॉपिक दीज टॉपिक्स, और आपने न्यूज़पेपर वगैरह ना भी पढ़ा हो तो अच्छी बात है, पढ़ना भी चाहिए। लाइक मैं भी कहता हूँ कि एटलीस्ट 15 मिनट्स तो पढ़ना चाहिए, एट मैक्स 30 मिनट्स डेली, to take a bird's eye view, just look at the glance what's going on there out there in the market, in the economy, in the society, तो भी आपका बहुत कुछ काम बन जाता है, बिकॉज यू कुड हैव पुट दीज थिंग्स इन दी आंसर्स, राइट। यदि ये जो टॉपिक्स हैं इन पे डायरेक्टली क्वेश्चंस नहीं बने, देन दे कुड हैव बीन पुट देयर इन दी आंसर्स, राइट। एम जी नरेगा वेरी स्पेसिफिक, इतने स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछे जाते स्पेसिफिक चीज़ों पे। एम जी नरेगा, मल्टी डायमेंशनल पॉवर्टी इंडेक्स ऑफ नीति आयोग, वॉश एक्ट, अगर कोई एक्ट है, दीज आर, ये तो पूछे गए नहीं कि फॉरेन एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, कभी कभी पूछा भी है इसने PYQs में, बट स्टिल जनरली क्वेश्चंस आर नॉट आस्क्ड ऑन वेरी स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक्स, राइट, दे आर आस्क्ड ऑन ब्रॉडर टॉपिक्स। डायस्पोरा पे आना इसलिए भी वॉज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज मोदी जी का यदि आप सोशल मीडिया हैंडल देखो तो कहीं पर भी जाते हैं वो डायस्पोरा से मिलते हैं, और डायस्पोरा का जो दिल है गदगद हो जाता है उनके PM को देख के, और बहुत वायरल होता है वो। तो every trip of Modi is shown in the light ki there is diaspora, it is very happy, and this was one thing. Another thing is ki our diaspora has been doing great in the foreign soil, like they are heading some MNCs, some big MNCs are headed by people from Indian diaspora. This is in corporate sphere. In political sphere, people like Kamala Harris, people like Rishi Sunak, and her wife Akshara Murthy, who I am a big fan of. They are doing great there. अपना कनाडा में अच्छा खासा डायस्पोरा है ही, अभी रिसेंटली इशू भी चला था। तो yeah, this was one thing, it was very much expected, it is directly lifted from the newspaper, from the syllabus though, but current में भी ये बहुत चलता रहता है इशू। इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर चल ही रहा था, सो नेटो वॉज वेरी मच एक्सपेक्टेड कि नेटो पे कोई क्वेश्चन आएगा, एंड द क्वेश्चन केम ऑन नेटो, राइट। ऐसी चीज़ें आए PM मोदीज विजिट टू जर्मनी इन 2020, तो ये हिंट करती है कि हाँ डायस्पोरा पे क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, क्योंकि आपके सिलेबस में ही है। इसलिए नहीं कि मोदी ने विजिट करी जर्मनी में तो डायस्पोरा पे क्वेश्चन आएगा, लेकिन आप थोड़ा देख लो, थोड़ा प्रैक्टिकल फील ले लो उसकी, क्योंकि आप पढ़ोगे डायस्पोरा के बारे में और फिर अब मोदी को इंटरेक्ट करते हुए देखोगे डायस्पोरा से, तो अच्छा खासा माइंड में बैठ जाएगा आपके, जब पिक्टोग्राफिक इमेज बनेगी तो। Anyways, now I think I have spoken for a long time. This was a candid talk. This was not a very well structured presented talk. I didn't prepare for it, and I'm not asking you to listen it, not imposing you something upon you. I know I spoke might be many things which were not that necessary. Maybe I protracted the things and spoke unnecessarily longer on them. Maybe I'm currently doing it as well, like continuing it. but the whole motive remains that there were some harsh truths which I wanted to bring forward. There were some myths, something terribly going on in the market which I wanted to shed some light on, and I hope that you will analyze, introspect, you will assess and reorient your strategy. If you are wasting time on the current affairs, you will stop doing it, and focus more on the syllabus oriented, more on the topic oriented, notes oriented strategy, making your own notes. At the end, what I would say is making your own notes on every topic of the syllabus, after doing the PYQ analysis, after mugging up the syllabus, after having a fairly well understanding of the issues, is very very important, is very very important. As soon as you do it, as early as you do it, the better it is for you. Suppose you have cleared the prelims, I don't know when you be listening to this video, then the first thing at your hand should be, the first task at your hand should be making notes for the syllabus. Now as I showed you, you're not supposed to, it is good if you make notes on every topic of the syllabus, but the topics which are repeated. Now how will you get to know that things which are repeated based on the PYQ analysis, you know? So look at the last 6 to 7 years PYQ, then based on them you will make the questions, you will frame the make the notes. And yeah, there's one more hack of making the notes. If you can make the notes keeping the questions in your mind, like you are making the notes, and at the same time if you put some question over there at the top, then that is great. This is again a very good hack. Like this is how you have divided your A4 size sheet, you know. Here you will write some topic, and it is good if you have analyzed the paper, then you become the UPSC paper setter and write a question and then make the notes. This is one hack. This is one thing which you can see might turn out to be working for you. Well, if you have got some questions with you, you can put them down in the comment section below. If you have got something from this video, then that's great. And if you have some queries, we can come up with them. The only reason for making this video, behind making this video, was to show you the truth with evidence, with facts, with proof, and prevent your brainwashing, you know, by the media, by the coaching industry, right? So that you can become Atmanirbhar and do the things yourself. With this, signing off. Jai Hind.